Today we are at Rendezvous of the Ozarks in Arkansas, and I'm going to be doing a build walk around with my brother-in-law and his 2020 Toyota Tacoma. Let's check it out. So we have your Tacoma here. For those who aren't super familiar with the Tacoma platform, tell us a little bit about your specific Tacoma and then what it comes with from the factory.
Yeah, this is a 2020 Tacoma in the quicksand color. It's the long bed. It's a little different than what you see most people driving the short beds. This is the long bed.
And the long bed is what, a 6-foot bed?
6-foot bed, yeah.
And the short bed's what, 4.5?
5.
5 foot,
It's
okay.
a 5-foot bed. Comes from the factory with a rear electronic locker. It's 4-wheel drive, and it also has the crawl control and multi-terrain select.
Is that standard on the TRD off-road trim?
Yes, it is.
Got it. So this is the step under the TRD Pro,
Yeah,
right?
just a step under it.
And then the step above, SR5 is like the more standard trim level?
Yes, yeah.
Cool, cool. So this is not entirely stock, so let's get into some of the mods you've done on the exterior. You can probably tell just with how it's sitting, it is not a stock ride height, and these are not the stock tires, so let's talk about those a little bit. What have you done to it?
All right, so whenever we put the bed cap on and we started putting weight in the bed, the truck really started to sag. So we had to combat that issue, and I wanted a little bit more ground clearance. So I wanted value, but I also wanted performance, so I went with Bilstein 6112s in the front with a 600-pound coil. And then in the rear, because I was sagging so bad with the cap and like I said, all the stuff back there, I had to get heavier leaf springs. So I went with the Old Man Emu Dakar 660s, extra 660 pounds of capacity before they start to sag. And then the shocks are going to be your Bilstein 5112s with the remote reservoir, the Baja Blast Edition.
Nice Baja Blast remote resis on there. And then all around you're lifted, what, about 2 inches in total?
About 2 inches all the way around. Maybe a little bit more. It's still kind of settling. I only got a couple thousand miles on it at this point. As far as tires, I went with the BFG KO2 all-terrains. I've had really good luck with them in the past, and they're kind of, in my opinion, the tire which all others are measured upon. As far as the wheels, they're stock for now. I'm hoping to score a set here soon, maybe Facebook Marketplace or Black Friday. Who knows? They don't look too bad, and they work for me.
And then you put a spacer on to make a little bit of clearance for the larger tires?
Yeah, so whenever you put larger tires in the front, you run into the issues of the tires rubbing the upper control arms. So I had to get the back spacing more correct, so I went 1.25" Spider Tracks hub-centric spacers.
And then tire size, so you're on the 16s that came stock on this, and what tire size did you go for and what diameter?
Yeah, so these are 285, 75, 16s, which the rough math is about 33.
Got it. Cool, cool. And then one of the last things on the exterior of the truck that you've changed, the side steps came on it when you got it, but you added the color-matched camper shell.
Yeah, that was the first thing I went out and did. It was probably maybe 2 weeks after I bought the truck, I went and ordered that from a place local to us. They shipped in about a month and then installed it right there for me.
And the whole design for the longer bed and the camper shell was so y'all could sleep in it, right? That was kind of the whole approach to getting the longer bed Tacoma?
Yeah, so my wife and I actually went back and forth for a long time about a 5 or a 6-foot bed, and we decided on the 6-foot bed because we're both under 6 feet, and we knew we wanted to sleep in the back. So whenever we go camping, we both sleep in the bed of the truck. And it's actually been really great, and I'm glad that she made me get the 6-foot bed.
Tell me why you went with this specific bed cap, because there's a lot of options for a bed cap on these, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of brands. I really liked Lear because they had the wind door sliders, and this is a lifesaver. If you don't do this on your truck, you're missing out, because there's nothing more frustrating than something sliding to the front of your cab, or sorry, the front of your bed, and having to crawl through the back all the way to get it. I open these up and just grab right here and take it out. I don't have to crawl in the back of my truck, hurt my knees, jump in and out. I can just reach it when I open this window up. It flips up just like the back window. But the cool thing about the wind door slider, and they're not cheap, they're expensive, is it all has the window in it. And that's where the Ryobi fan comes really into play. Ryobi has an excellent battery line. They're not like the most premier professional brand, but this thing has been a lifesaver because I put my battery in, bungee cord, and it's a couple eyelets on the top of the rack here, and all I have to do is flip a switch and it's pulling cold air in at night. So it's not stuffy. and really the battery will last about 8 hours.
Yeah, if you run it on like what, 2 or 3, it's got 3 settings.
It's got 3 settings. 2 will get you probably about 10 hours. 3 will get you 6 to 8. But the really cool thing that I wasn't expecting either was that it vibrates a little, and it almost puts a little bit of white noise in the cab when you're sleeping.
So, and for like weatherproofing, y'all typically have an awning that you have off of this side as well, right? You have a moonshade that's incredibly weatherproof if you're interested, by the way.
Yeah, that thing needs to be thrown in the trash, really. We spent a lot of money off a recommendation, and it's not what it was supposed to be. So I may switch over to the Napa awning like Austin has eventually. Just, you know, this is my daily driver, so I want to keep it pretty clean and not just weighed down with everything.
For sure. And yeah, so the battery is covered at night when you run this, but yeah, we've camped in the heat a little bit, and we both have the Ryobi fan, and I don't think we would have enjoyed the experience near as much without it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the sides on the bed cap to me are what make this super nice inside. And it's all carpeted on the inside as well, right?
Yeah, so I was lucky and they were running a promotional. It was a free upgrade. I was going to do it regardless. Another big thing that you can do is Walmart or whoever sells little pod lights. And I put Velcro on the backing of them. And then you can just stick them to the roof and light up the inside if you're in there reading at night or just hanging out.
And those are like battery-powered pod lights?
Yeah, they run off AAAs. The biggest thing is this isn't for hanging out in. This is primarily, we get in here to sleep. When we're out in the outdoors or we're outside the truck, so it's a little bit like a tomb or a coffin, but it's not terrible. You can set up a little bit, but don't set up too quick.
Definitely can't sit up fully, but yeah, for I think a lot of setups, this is definitely optimized for sleeping, but you have done a whole lot to make the outdoor space a lot more usable around it.
Yeah. Another cool thing is when we take our dog, she sleeps in the back seat of the truck, and then there's a rear sliding window, and then the camper shell also has a sliding window, so it's a pass-through. So we can check on her. She gets a little bit of the airflow also, and she lets us know when it's time to wake up for sure. So my wife and I, when we met, we were both backpacking guides. So we love the outdoors, and we always wanted good gear when we were guides. So we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do as far as mattress and sleeping in the back. So we went with these X-Ped mats. They're a foam, but they're also self-inflating. You can add a little bit of air to them. And whenever we're done and ready to camp for the night, just slide them down side by side.
Good seals on there.
Yeah, no kidding. So yeah, you just slide these both up.
So these X-Peds are pretty much perfect fit for the back, and the sleeping or the platform, the drawer platform, is about how tall? Like 10 inches a foot?
Yeah, don't catch me lying to you. My buddy, he has a family-owned cabinet business. So I called him up and said, what can you do for me? I said, I'll buy all the parts if we can use your shop. I'm very grateful that he obliged to do so. And we spent about a week working about 2 to 3 hours a night, and we built these drawers out. And it's been a game changer as far as organization, as well as making it so much more convenient to go camping.
Absolutely. So, and before we get into the drawers, you have some bed stiffeners, right?
Right. So one of the issues is this is a composite bed. There's not hardly any metal in it. So what happens when you start adding weight, as far as like the camper shell, and eventually we'll get a rooftop tent and do all that fun stuff. But as you add weight, the bed sides fold outwards. So these brackets are from Cali raised LED, and you just drill a couple holes and then bolt them down.
So let's get into the drawers for a second. Yeah, the craftsmanship on them, definitely you can tell a cabinet maker helped make them for sure. As far as your setup goes, what's your organization look like inside?
So on my left side here is going to be all my cooking, and then on my right side is going to be like all my just kind of miscellaneous things. I keep tools in there. The most important thing in the woods, the toilet paper. I also have a fire extinguisher and first aid kit in there, but I'll open it up for you. These drawers are 5.5 feet long.
With the lockable slides are pretty nifty to keep everything cooperating.
Yeah, so chips, tools. I got my air down kit here. Like I said, the most important thing, toilet paper, and then first aid kit and fire extinguishers back there also. So I got 5.5 feet of usable space. I'm really trying to maximize everything that I've got.
And then on the side of the drawer really quick too, so they're built out to kind of be flush with the rear wheel wells, right?
Yeah, so I didn't want to lose the fact that I've got a 120 plug in the back. I still wanted to have access to that in case I wanted to maybe power something up. So I can still reach in there and run that, and I can also still store things like fishing poles and longer items also in there.
Let's check out the kitchen drawer real quick.
Yeah, so one of the big issues with camping is the kitchen and keeping all that organized. So now that we're pulled out here, I keep all my utensils and plates, seasonings, koozies, cooking spray, whatever I need, paper towels. I've got a cutting board, and then I keep my stove back here.
This is pretty cool. Show us what you did here to make the stove. This is kind of a usable cooktop almost.
Yeah, so we put these in here, and you slap that there, and then your stove goes here, and it's like the perfect height to sit here and cook.
I think that's something that I've seen a lot of people do. I think everybody who has a drawer system should do is make their drawer kind of a usable table space almost.
Yeah.
And I've seen people do that with like the rolling slats, but this is pretty cool how it's kind of tailored for your cooking stove here.
Yeah, so we do a lot of food prep here. Eventually I'm going to get this to be smooth so it's not as rigid and things fall over, but we'll put a piece of metal there or something, and then you have basically make like an island. So you can be preparing food, have your cooler, and then you can be cooking at the same time. So it's all just a one setup, and when I'm done, close it up and it's gone. I'm not having to listen to it rattle in the truck. It's all self-contained. It's easy to take care of.
And as far as like when you're going out on these trips, I know you'll typically stack your sleeping pads one on the other, and then you'll put your cooler and any other kind of miscellaneous larger items along the side as well.
Right. So the easiest thing when we're done for the day and we're going to go overland or do whatever it is we want to do, slide this up here, close my drawers up, and then put the cooler there.
You're typically driving with you and your wife, your son, and your dog, so you don't have a whole lot of room in the cabin. You're using all four doors. So
yeah, about all I have is a little bit of space behind the seats, and it's not much. That's where I keep my compressor.
Nice. Well, let's get into the inflate deflate setup. I think that's kind of a cool little system you got there. So let's check that out.
Yeah, so you can go online and buy these online, and multiple different companies make them. And I'm kind of under the impression, like, if I can do it myself, I'm going to do it myself. And I think that's a lot of the fun in camping and overlanding, is putting together your own stuff that works for you. I made this whole setup for about $50 minus the compressor. So basically what it is Harbor Freight air hoses. They're about $6 a piece. I got 2 of them. I've got locking air chucks that lock onto my tire stems, valve stems, and then this little manifold here came off Amazon for about 25 bucks or so. So it has got a digital air pressure gauge. You just turn it on, and a big thing with off-roading is your tire pressure. It helps improve your ride. It also helps your ground contact patch, so you can easily get over obstacles. But the biggest thing for me is it makes the truck a lot smoother. So on this, all I have to do right now, the tires are sitting at 33.9 PSI. To let air out of my tires, switch the valve, and down they go. And when I'm done, shut the valve off, and it's going to show me what my tire pressure is. I'm already down to 32.4.
And you have it set up to do one side at a time. You don't have 4 at a time. I think that's sometimes a little overkill. I guess it's a little more convenient, but a lot harder to set up.
Yeah, I didn't want the whole mess of hoses to have to deal with and getting all tangled up and finding a place to store 4 hoses and try and keep my impact and space like minimal in the truck so I can take more items that are a little bit more home or comfort friendly.
So I know you have really just got this entire setup dialed in. What have you seen as far as inflate and deflate times?
So I went ahead and when I first got it in my driveway, deflated my tires down to about 18 pounds from 40. Then I hooked up my compressor, and it did each side in about 3.5 minutes.
Nice. So you're doing in total probably on the side of the road for like 10 minutes for this. Really not too bad.
Yeah, really quick and easy. So when I'm ready to inflate, I've got the compressor set out here. It hooks up to my truck battery. They typically want your truck running, but since we're doing it for a short time, it's not that big of a deal. So all I have to do is reverse my process now. I take my hose from my compressor side, plug it into the side that had been releasing air. I'll turn my compressor on and open the valve. And now I'm inflating.
So on the inside of the Tacoma, you haven't really done anything in here. So this is just, I guess, to show the people what the inside of the TRD off-road Tacoma looks like.
Yeah, it's stock on the inside. The only thing I've added, it's a need for anybody, it doesn't matter if you're into camping or not, is the molded floor mats. That's been a lifesaver to keep this thing a lot more clean and not get mud in my carpet. The other big thing is Apple CarPlay. I run Gaia GPS. for off-roading stuff. So I route all my stuff online before. It goes to my phone, and then I just plug my phone in, and it shows me my route I've picked out. So I know if I'm on the right route, if the trails are open or closed, all of that. It's great.
And 2020 was one of the first years that the Tacoma got CarPlay, right?
Yeah, it was, and it's not wireless Apple CarPlay, but I mean, I'm still getting my phone charged at the same time when I have it plugged in with the cord, so I'm not too concerned about it.
As far as kind of fun little stuff in here, I guess you have a wireless charging pad behind the shifter here.
Yep.
There's a power switch for your rear window, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then what else do you have in here?
I got the blind spot monitoring, the parking sensor, tow haul mode, and then here's your four-wheel drive shifter. It's electronic, not my preferred, but there's no other option with the Tacomas at this point. And then up top here is where your locking rear differential is, and then your multi-terrain select, and as well as your crawl control. So you can dial up your speed and basically take your foot off the gas and the brake, and the truck does everything for you.
It's pretty nifty. It looks like they got a lot of blanks there if you want to add some additional switches for auxiliary lighting or what have you. So I'd say you're pretty well along your way on the modifying path. You have any future plans for it?
Yeah, so we're looking at getting a front bumper with a winch to be able to recover myself if something were to happen. Also looking at upgrading electrical and start putting lights and that kind of stuff on there. Like I said, I'm a really big fan on keeping things looking clean. I don't want a rat's nest of wiring, so I'm probably gonna get a switch pod of some sort, multiple different brands for that also. Also looking at getting a couple crossbars for the back, and eventually getting a rooftop tent. I'll probably get something off Facebook Marketplace pretty cheap. I don't need the best of the best for that. It's just a place to lay and sleep for the night.
If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this type of kind of build walk around, definitely leave a comment, let us know. If you have any interest in seeing more Tacoma content, leave a comment, drop a like, all the things. Until next time, see you guys.